Hey everybody, this month's advice is actually based upon a personal experience, a situation that forced me to practice what I preach. But before I jump into it, let's review what this segment is about and for. But you know what, before I even do that, let me emphasize how important it is that we give praise and gratitude first in all that we do. Because what if, your battery dies and you were I was waiting to the end rather, to say thank you, but you never got a chance to hear me say that. So thank you, Hospitality Room, for yet another opportunity to share an accountability tip that may tweak someone's attitude and change another's life as a result. You never know, you guys, who you are socially influencing, okay? People are always watching. So this segment is something that we decided that we were going to do based upon the podcast that I did with the crew, and we're going to do routinely. So let's jump right into it. I went to an interview last week, and it was my first time in that area. I didn't really know what the parking situation was like, how long the interview would last. So I pulled into the closest spot, right to the door, because I was wearing heels and I'm not quite as talented as I used to be. So anyways, I got through the interview, felt pretty good about it. Head back down the 3 flights of stairs to the parking lot to only find that my car is blocked. Like, I'm the only car that's blocked, you guys, by a black something. No idea the make or model. It's a European car, okay? By the way, I live in Germany, for those of you that don't know. And I look back up at the building, like searching each window, right? For like a face, a shadow, a camera, something, because I just know I'm being punked, right? I walk frantically to the end of the lot. I look left, I look right, thinking the driver may be, walking back to the car. I scale the distance to see if I could manage any type of like escape. No way that's happening, okay? I mean, he is like on my bumper. I dig in my purse, for a pen to write down the license plate, thinking, I'll call it in. But then I realize I don't know who to call, right? And so I end up like saying a few cuss words. I think about kicking his tire, right? I sigh real heavy out loud, look at my watch, and then begin to pout as I opened my car door and slid into the driver's seat. Now be honest, you guys, how many of you would have reacted the exact same way as me, if not worse, right? I feel you, okay? 27 minutes pass and the driver of the black something or other shows up. I open my car door only to be met with a language I don't understand, okay? By a complete stranger with no witnesses around, right? And after a few blank stares, he points to a sign, you guys, that apparently reads private parking in German, okay? So I was in his parking spot. I smiled, he growled, and he pulled off. Now listen, we have been conditioned automatically without hesitation to place blame on someone or something else first before we ever consider taking ownership of our actions. Why is that? Because we're emotional beings. We act according to how we feel. Our thoughts, they drive our actions. There was a study back in 1997 by Dunbar and Marriott that actually studied the topic of human conversations, and they found that 78% of conversations involved talking about ourselves and our perceptions of the world. Fast forward to 2013, and Tamir and Mitchell from Harvard showed in their study that most people do something called anchoring. It is a kind of cognitive bias where we invoke our own experiences as a guide for anchoring our assumptions. And then most recently in 2018, there was a study that I found by Meyer and Lieberman that proposed a theory about how and why people are always thinking about themselves. There's like a certain area of the brain, I think it's the MPFC-DA10, don't quote me on that. That's a sort of like default network area, and it's activated when we think about ourselves. So research supports this truth. So how do we break science? Well, there's this thing called accountability. And the sense of owning what we do is so important. Not just taking responsibility for our ownership, for being in the wrong and thinking it, right? But admitting it to others publicly to normalize the acknowledgement as a positive behavior. As I sat in my car, you guys, I began to think of things that this experience potentially saved me from, maybe slowed me down for, right? Or reminded me I needed to do. And I began to work on those things while I waited. Accountability, you guys, is a form of reflection that can happen amongst ourselves just as much as it can with others. If you're spiritual, then it happens with whom you praise or worship. In closing, accountability can be the moment you commit to the process of acknowledging where you are now and being aware of the reality of your situation, right? I was in the wrong. Hey guys, sorry for the late post this month, friends. Thank you for your patience. Stay plugged in for November's video to drop on or around the 15th. Enjoy the rest of your